Chosen One, you're about to discover why you could get an Oscar for this performance after you perfectly planned and executed your exit from an abusive karmic situation that tried to destroy you. When your survival instincts kicked in, you didn't just escape. You vanished so completely that your abuser was left questioning their own sanity, wondering how someone they thought they controlled had outmaneuvered them with Academy Award-level deception while building an entirely invisible life right under their nose. They entered your life like a perfectly crafted illusion. Charming, attentive, seemingly wounded in ways that called to your natural healing instincts. They told stories that tugged at your heartstrings, shared vulnerabilities that made you feel special for being trusted with their pain. Looking back, you can see how carefully orchestrated their approach was. They had studied you before making their move, learning your patterns, your soft spots, your triggers. They knew exactly which buttons to push to make you feel like you had found your soulmate. The love-bombing phase was intoxicating. They showered you with attention, gifts, promises of a future that seemed too good to be true. They made you feel like you were the center of their universe, the missing piece that would finally make their life complete. Your intuitive gifts should have warned you, and in quiet moments, they did. Small inconsistencies in their stories, moments when their energy felt off, times when your inner voice whispered warnings that you chose to ignore because everything else felt so perfect. You were about to learn that predators specifically target people like you, chosen ones, with big hearts and powerful gifts, because they know how to exploit your natural desire to help and heal others. They understand that your compassion can be weaponized against you if they're skilled enough manipulators. The shift happened gradually, so slowly that you barely noticed at first. The constant attention became possessive monitoring. The sweet gestures became transactions with strings attached. The vulnerability they had shared became ammunition they used to guilt you into compliance. Each manipulation was creating microscopic cracks in their facade that your intuitive abilities were cataloging, even though your conscious mind wasn't ready to process the information yet. Your finances became entangled with theirs in ways that seemed romantic at first, but gradually revealed themselves as strategic moves to gain control. They needed help with bills, just temporarily. They had an emergency that required your immediate financial assistance. They suggested combining accounts to show your commitment to the relationship. Each request seemed reasonable in isolation, but together they formed a web of financial dependency that would make leaving exponentially more difficult. They were building a prison around you one bar at a time, and you were helping them construct it. Meanwhile, something even more insidious was happening to your energy. Every interaction left you feeling slightly more drained. Every conversation required you to manage their emotions while suppressing your own. Your natural radiance began to dim as they fed off your light like a spiritual parasite. Your intuitive gifts, which had once felt like superpowers, began to feel like curses as they used your own insights against you. When you sensed their deception, they gaslit you into doubting your perceptions. When you felt their energy shift, they convinced you that you were being too sensitive or overthinking things. As your awareness of the situation began to grow, their control tactics became more overt and menacing. They started making casual comments about your professional life that carried underlying threats. They knew where you worked, who your colleagues were, what projects you were involved in. It would be such a shame if someone called your boss and told them about your issues at home, they would say with a smile that didn't reach their eyes. Each threat was being processed by your evolving consciousness as valuable intelligence about their methods, weaknesses, and the extent of their desperation to maintain control. What they didn't know was that their threats were activating ancient survival programming in your DNA that would soon transform you into a strategic mastermind. The financial threats were even more explicit. "If you're not going to pay for me, then I'm going to take your money from you," became their philosophy, spoken with increasing boldness as they sensed your growing awareness of the situation. They had positioned themselves to sabotage your income streams, damage your credit, and destroy your financial stability if you dared to leave. They knew your banking information, your passwords, your financial vulnerabilities. They had access to everything, or so they thought. Your spiritual guides were already showing you ways to protect and move resources that existed completely outside their awareness. Some days, you caught glimpses of rage in their eyes that genuinely frightened you. You began to understand that you weren't just dealing with someone manipulative. You were dealing with someone potentially dangerous. People like this don't handle rejection well. They don't simply let their sources of supply walk away without a fight. That danger was real, which is exactly why the universe was preparing you for an exit strategy so sophisticated that they would never see it coming. The spiritual forces that had gifted you with intuitive abilities suddenly kicked into overdrive, showing you exactly who you were dealing with, and more importantly, exactly what you needed to do about it. The fog of confusion and gaslighting began to lift as your inner guidance system upgraded to meet this unprecedented threat. Your inner voice, which had been trying to warn you for months, suddenly became crystal clear and impossible to ignore. The same spiritual gifts that had made you a target were now going to become your path to freedom. The download came in waves of perfect clarity. This person would never change. They would never become the partner you deserved. They would never stop using your gifts against you, your resources to fund their lifestyle, your energy to fuel their dysfunction. More importantly, the download was showing you something incredible. You had the power to completely disappear from their reality in a way that would leave them questioning everything they thought they knew about control and manipulation. Your spiritual team was showing you something revolutionary. Your intuitive gifts weren't meant to be used for radical honesty with everyone in your life. Sometimes, your psychic abilities were meant to help you stay several steps ahead of people who wished you harm. In fact, they were about to help you stay 100 steps ahead, orchestrating an escape so flawless that it would redefine what was possible for someone in your situation. The plan that began forming in your mind was breathtaking in its elegance and precision. Every detail was being orchestrated by forces far more intelligent than your conscious mind, working through your intuitive abilities to craft a strategy that would have impressed military tacticians. You started seeing the situation like a chess game where you could see 20 moves ahead while your opponent was still figuring out which pieces they controlled. Your awakened Chosen One abilities were giving you access to information and insights that transformed you from victim to strategist overnight. The first phase would involve becoming an Oscar-worthy actor while gathering intelligence and resources. You would maintain their sense of security and control while secretly dismantling the prison they had built around you. Every conversation would become a calculated performance designed to feed them false information while you collected real intelligence about their weaknesses and blind spots. The acting would be so convincing that even trained psychologists wouldn't be able to detect the deception, while you simultaneously gathered enough intelligence to predict their every move. The following is a message from Mike, founder of the Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral Atom. You didn't just survive your past, you were refined by it. Every betrayal, every psychic attack, every night you thought you wouldn't make it, that wasn't random. That was the forge. And now the blade is ready. The first phase would involve becoming an Oscar-worthy actor while gathering intelligence and resources. You would maintain their sense of security and control while secretly dismantling the prison they had built around you. Every conversation would become a calculated performance designed to feed them false information, while you collected real intelligence about their weaknesses and blind spots. The acting would be so convincing that even trained psychologists wouldn't be able to detect the deception, while you simultaneously gathered enough intelligence to predict their every move. The following is a message from Mike, founder of the Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral Atom. You didn't just survive your past, you were refined by it. Every betrayal, every psychic attack, every night you thought you wouldn't make it, that wasn't random. That was the forge. And now the blade is ready. Inside the Obsidian Inner Order, we gather each week on live Zoom calls. And yes, they're recorded. So when you're down in the pit, you can still tap the signal. You'll meet divine warrior goddesses who walk with ancestral fire in their spines, masculine healers who carry prophecy in their silence, a former military drone operator who now moves matter with his thoughts, a seer from Utah who broke free of Mormonism to become a Gnostic, a psychic in Noosa who used to be a millionaire, CFO, a spiritual healer who clawed their way out of a satanic cult and now channels light like a weapon. These aren't stories, they're your future reflections. If you've ever felt like you were meant for something more, it's because you are. The field is open, the war is real, the circle is waiting. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in the description. Thank you all for supporting the broadcast. We quite literally could not do this without you. Phase 2 would involve the invisible preparation, moving money, building new professional networks, establishing safe houses, creating backup plans for your backup plans. All of this would happen right under their nose while they remained completely oblivious to your activities. You were about to construct an entirely parallel life that existed in complete stealth mode, with resources and connections they couldn't even imagine. The final phase would be the disappearance itself, so swift and complete that they would be left staring at empty spaces where your life used to intersect with theirs, with no trail to follow and no way to reach you ever again. The vanishing act would be so thorough that they would spend months wondering if you had ever actually existed in the first place. You woke up the next morning as a completely different person, though they would never know it. Overnight, you had become a master strategist operating with the precision of a trained intelligence agent, all while maintaining the appearance of the same compliant partner they thought they controlled. Every conversation became a carefully choreographed dance. When they asked about your day, you gave them just enough truth to satisfy their need for surveillance, while revealing nothing about your true activities. When they demanded access to your finances, you appeared compliant while secretly moving money to accounts they didn't know existed. The most incredible part was how easy it became once you stopped fighting your situation and started playing it like a game. Your chosen one abilities included not just intuition, but also remarkable emotional intelligence and strategic thinking capabilities that had been dormant until this crisis activated them. You discovered that you could read their emotional state like a book while keeping your own completely hidden. You learned their patterns, their triggers, their blind spots. You began predicting their behavior with startling accuracy while they remained completely clueless about your true thoughts and plans. Some days you almost felt sorry for them. They thought they were dealing with the same naive, trusting person they had originally targeted. They had no idea they were now facing someone whose spiritual gifts had been weaponized for psychological warfare. Your performance was so convincing that even other people with strong intuitive abilities would have been completely fooled. You had become a master of energetic camouflage, projecting exactly the frequency they expected while your true self operated in complete stealth mode. While maintaining your Academy Award-worthy performance, you began constructing an entirely parallel life that they knew nothing about. Your awakened Chosen One abilities were guiding every move, showing you exactly when to be patient and when to take action. You researched new living situations in cities they would never think to look. You established relationships with landlords who accepted cash deposits and didn't require traditional references. You created backup housing options in multiple locations, each one completely disconnected from your current life. Every day brought new intelligence about their true nature and capabilities. You learned they were far more manipulative and dangerous than you had initially realized. You discovered backup plans they had made to control you if you ever tried to leave. You found evidence of threats they were prepared to make against your professional reputation and personal safety. The most challenging part wasn't the logistics. It was maintaining your emotional equilibrium while living a complete double life. You had to process your real feelings in total privacy while projecting artificial emotions in their presence. Every single day, your spiritual guides were working overtime during this period, giving you exactly the strength and clarity you needed to pull off the most complex operation of your life. The same forces that had made you a target for this predator were now orchestrating your complete liberation from their control. The final phase was approaching, and it would require perfect timing and flawless execution to pull off what would essentially be a magic trick performed on someone who thought they were the magician. What was coming would be so perfectly orchestrated that they would question their own sanity before they questioned your capabilities. When the moment came to activate your exit strategy, the precision was breathtaking. You had choreographed every detail weeks in advance, with contingency plans for scenarios they couldn't even imagine. Your departure happened so smoothly it seemed like magic. The morning they woke up to find your belongings gone, they discovered that you hadn't just left, you had vanished completely. Your phone number was disconnected, your email bounced back as undeliverable, your social media accounts had been deactivated. Every method they had used to contact you had been simultaneously eliminated. The beauty of your strategy became immediately apparent. They had no idea where you had gone or how to find you. All their threats about sabotaging your career became meaningless because you were already established in a completely different professional environment, using skills they never knew you possessed. Their promises to take your money fell flat because you had already secured your finances in ways they couldn't access or even comprehend. Their attempts to manipulate you through guilt and fake apologies reached only silence because you had cut off every avenue of communication. You had vanished like smoke, leaving them with nothing but confusion, empty threats, and the dawning realization that they had been outmaneuvered by someone they had severely underestimated. The most satisfying part was knowing that their non-intuitive nature meant they would probably never figure out how thoroughly you had played them. They would spend months, maybe years, wondering how someone they thought they completely controlled had executed such a perfect disappearance. Meanwhile, you were already thriving in your new life, watching their desperate attempts to locate you from a position of complete safety and freedom. In the weeks following your departure, you observed from your secure vantage point as their entire world began to unravel. Without your financial support, their carefully maintained lifestyle started crumbling. Without your emotional labor, they had to face their own dysfunction for the first time in years. Without your energy to feed on, they were forced to confront the emptiness that drove their predatory behavior. They tried everything to locate you. They reached out to mutual friends who genuinely had no idea where you had gone. They searched social media profiles that no longer existed. They even hired investigators who found nothing but dead ends because you had been thorough beyond their comprehension. The investigator reports probably made for fascinating reading. Subject vanished without trace, no leads, case unsolvable. You had essentially achieved something that intelligence agencies would consider a perfect disappearance. You had become a ghost, and ghosts can't be harmed by people who operate in the physical realm alone. The metaphysical nature of your escape had taken you completely outside their ability to cause harm. Meanwhile, your new life was flourishing in ways that would have been impossible while trapped in their web of control. Your career was advancing rapidly without their interference. Your bank account was growing without their constant demands. Your energy levels were through the roof without their vampiric drain. This experience taught you something profound about the nature of your gifts as a chosen one. Your intuitive abilities aren't just about helping others or being a source of light in the world. Sometimes they're about developing the strategic intelligence necessary to protect yourself from people who would exploit your compassion for their own gain. You had discovered that spiritual warfare sometimes requires tactics that would surprise people who think enlightenment means passive acceptance of abuse. You learned that radical honesty isn't always the highest spiritual path. Sometimes strategic concealment is the most aligned choice you can make when dealing with people who operate from predatory consciousness. The universe had taught you that protecting your light sometimes means hiding it from people who would try to extinguish it. Your inner guidance system received a massive upgrade during this experience. You can now sense energy vampires from incredible distances. You recognize the early warning signs of controlling behavior before most people would even notice something was off. You trust your instincts about people who seem charming on the surface, but carry darker intentions underneath. Most importantly, you discovered that your spiritual gifts include the ability to outmaneuver people who operate from lower frequencies without stooping to their level. You don't have to become manipulative yourself. You just have to become strategically brilliant. The person who emerged from this experience carries wisdom that most people will never acquire. You maintained your compassionate nature, but added layers of discernment and strategic thinking that make you nearly impossible to manipulate or control. You had become someone who could love deeply while protecting fiercely, help others while safeguarding yourself. You still help others, but you're highly selective about who receives access to your energy. You still trust your intuition, but you also trust your ability to take decisive action when necessary. Your spiritual evolution had created the perfect balance between open-hearted service and bulletproof boundaries. Your acting skills, developed under the most intense pressure imaginable, now serve you in countless situations. You can navigate difficult conversations, handle challenging people, and protect your interests without creating unnecessary conflict. You become a master of social dynamics in ways that benefit every area of your life. Today, you live in complete freedom from the person who once controlled your life. They have no access to your energy, your resources, your peace of mind, or your future. The prison they built around you has been completely dismantled, and you hold all the keys to your new reality. The fortress of freedom you constructed has proven to be absolutely impenetrable, giving you security that goes far beyond physical safety. People often comment on how confident and self-assured you've become, how there's something different about your energy that commands respect. They don't realize you're carrying the wisdom of someone who successfully escaped from an impossible situation through pure strategic thinking and spiritual guidance. The transformation has created an aura of unshakable strength that people can sense even when they can't articulate what they're perceiving. Sometimes you wonder if they ever figured out how thoroughly you outmaneuvered them. Do they realize that your seemingly submissive behavior was actually tactical brilliance? Do they understand that your apparent helplessness was the performance of a lifetime? The beauty of perfect strategy is that the opponent often never understands how completely they were outplayed. It doesn't matter What matters is that you're free, you're thriving, and you've proven to yourself that being a chosen one doesn't mean accepting abuse or manipulation. It means using all your gifts, including ones you didn't know you had, to create the life you deserve. You had discovered that your spiritual abilities included capabilities that most people never develop, even under extreme circumstances. Your Oscar-worthy performance wasn't just acting. It was a masterclass in spiritual warfare, fought and won without your opponent ever realizing they were in a battle until it was far too late for them to do anything about it. The victory was so complete that it redefined what was possible for someone in your situation. You didn't just escape an abusive situation. You transformed yourself into someone who can never be trapped that way again. Your greatest performance wasn't just about fooling someone else. It was about discovering the depths of your own strategic brilliance and spiritual strength. The person who emerged from this experience was fundamentally different, stronger, wiser, and completely immune to the manipulation tactics that once ensnared you. The applause you deserve isn't from an audience. It's from your own soul, celebrating the moment you chose your freedom over their comfort, your truth over their lies, your future over their control. The standing ovation comes from the universe itself, acknowledging that you had played the game at a level that transcended ordinary human consciousness. You earned every moment of the peace you now experience. You deserved better than what they offered, and you had the wisdom and courage to go get it through one of the most sophisticated operations ever executed by someone who refused to remain a victim. The peace you created wasn't just the absence of conflict, it was the presence of absolute victory. That's what real chosen ones do. They don't just endure, they transform, they strategize, and they win completely. They turn their deepest challenges into their greatest triumphs, using spiritual gifts that most people never even realize they possess. And once a chosen one awakens to this level of power, they become absolutely unstoppable in creating the life they truly deserve. The performance of a lifetime had become the transformation of a lifetime, proving that sometimes the greatest act of love is refusing to be anyone's victim ever again. Your Oscar wasn't made of gold. It was made of pure, unshakable freedom. You've graduated from the University of Spiritual Warfare with honors that can never be revoked. Every future predator who tries to read you will find themselves staring at a masterclass in psychological armor they can't penetrate. Your energy now carries the frequency of someone who has walked through fire and emerged as flame itself, untouchable, unbreakable, and absolutely certain of their own power. The person who once trapped you unwittingly created their own worst nightmare, a chosen one who knows exactly how dangerous they can be when their survival depends on it, and who will never again mistake kindness for weakness or spiritual gifts for vulnerability.